Chapter 3, Problem 3 is asking us to do two things. Prepare a schedule of cost of goods manufactured and then prepare a schedule of cost of goods sold. The schedule of cost of goods manufactured is very similar to what you have done in Accounting 1. The difference is now we're looking at what we made, the cost that we added to the period. So, let's start with what we need. We need to start with the beginning raw materials. And they give us that because that's what we're going to add to. So our beginning raw materials are $12,000. Now, we purchased raw materials of $30,000. So we're going to add that. So our total raw materials available, a lot like total goods available and cost of goods sold, is the combination of those two, $42,000. Now we have to deduct the ending raw materials, just like we did with cost of goods sold, and we figured that out. Beginning inventory plus purchases minus ending inventory. Beginning inventory, raw material, plus purchases, raw material, minus ending inventory, raw material. So we need to reduce that by $18,000. That's what we have left. So our raw materials used in production is 18 from the 42, and that leaves us 24,000. And we're told of that 24,000, 5,000 was deducted for manufacturing overhead, and they give us that number. So we have to subtract that. So the raw material used in manufacture this period was 19,000. Direct labor, they give us the number, 58,000. They give us the manufacturing overhead applied was 87,000. So a lot of this is just interpreting the data as given. So we have the materials, the labor, the overhead. They're the three inputs. So that combined is the total manufacturing costs, and that's $164,000. Now they tell us that our beginning work in process was $56,000. So we added $164,000 to our $56,000, our beginning work in process. That gave us our total on the assembly line of $220,000. Then we subtract the ending work in process, which they gave us. Ending work in process, $65,000. We subtract the $65,000. And the cost of goods manufactured this period is $155,000. It's not really very different from cost of goods sold. You're just dealing with slightly different names. But it's exactly the same. What we had, what we added, what we had left, what we used. So, now that's the cost of goods manufactured. Now it says, let's take that. We're going to need that number and do our cost of goods sold. So, our beginning finished goods inventory, because that's what we added to, is $35,000. So our beginning finished goods inventory, $35,000. Our cost of goods manufactured, that's the number we just figured out, $155,000. So the cost of goods available was $190,000. This is just like cost of goods sold, except in cost of goods sold we have beginning finished goods plus purchases. Here we're not purchasing, we're making, so we're adding cost of goods manufactured. We're going to deduct our ending finished goods inventory, and our ending finished goods inventory is 42,000. You see where we got that from? Right there, ending finished goods, 42,000. So we deduct that. That gives us 148,000 so far. Now they tell us that any underapplied or overapplied overhead is closed to cost of goods sold at the end of each month. So, how much overhead did we use altogether? Manufacturing overhead applied was 84,000, or 87,000, I'm sorry. And they tell us that the underapplied overhead was 4,000. In other words, we had $91,000 worth of overhead. We only applied 87,000. So we have to put this $4,000 to cost of goods sold. So we add that to cost of goods sold, and our adjusted cost of goods sold is $152,000.